The Redskins reconsidered. 3 minority owners of the team are looking to sell their stakes in the NFL team. Dan Snyder, the majority owner, said last week he's reviewing the name after pressure from FedEx and Nike. Lee, what do you make of this? To be clear, I am a lifelong Redskins fan, but I said years ago on the air, I'm on the record saying that they should have started talking about this eons ago to just get rid of the name. And the reason the fans hate Dan Snyder is because he's been an awful owner. Their record is abysmal, and he's a terrible owner. And it's about time the Redskins started talking about this.
I think it's about time the Redskins start talking about this, too. I think it's been, they've taken the heat on this for a long time, and they stuck to their guns on it, and I don't think it was the right decision. I think now is the time to change their name, and I think probably a good time to rebrand themselves. I think they need to have a new image, so to speak. They haven't had the best record in recent years, and I think this could give them a much-needed boost. But I think the time is right, and I think they can't avoid it any longer.
It happened across the NCAA. Stanford changed the mascot name in the 70s, I think, and Syracuse did the same. The Florida State Seminoles, they worked with the local Native American tribe to make sure that the tribe was okay with them retaining the kind of Seminoles to represent them. But Lee, really quickly before we move on, do you have a name for the Redskins? What would you call it? Have you researched that at all?
I haven't researched it at all. I've seen that they have some good ones out there, and I'm not sure which one I would pick, because the question is, do they go to something that's really close that has a different meaning, or do they go something different entirely? I think it's a really important question. I think people are going to want it to stay close, and I think they're going to want to keep it with the same kind of a feel. But I haven't come up with
Okay, so please, I know it's Washington, but nothing to do with politics. Nothing, because I think, just please, no.
Yes, please.
But it's not just the Washington Redskins. The Cleveland Indians are also considering a name change as well. This after the team completely removed it was a offensive to many caricature a mascot, Chief Wahoo, last year. John Lonski, what do you make of these changes?
Well, I think they're overdue, much overdue. Washington Redskins, I'm a New York Giants fan, and I think of that old baseball team from Washington that lost all the time. Why not call them the Washington Senators? Bring that name back. My goodness, that would really frighten Washington Redskins fans.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't call them senators. Don't call them the Washington congressman. Can you think of anything more loathsome than being called? Like, Alli,
I did like the Red Tail.
Washington Reds might be a good name.
Right. Alli, final word.
Yeah, I would just say, look, you mentioned that in the 70s, some universities started making these changes. This has been a slow drip of sort of sensitivity to marketing and branding. There's been an inflection point. I think that, there is no longer a tolerance either by employees of companies, attendees of universities, or the general public for offending a few to make many happy. And, I applaud all efforts that are being taken to have broad appeal and sensitivity.
And here's my final word. Washington Redskins, change the name, start winning consistently. Maybe they're connected. And maybe get rid of the owner, Dan Snyder, too.